Where are we going?
Canal time. We're leaving. It's been 10 days here at Shelter Bay, and we are transiting towards the Pacific.
Not just transiting.
Transiting! Gotta get the musical notes part of it.
The captain and admiral are very excited.
Yes, very excited.
To the canal!
To the canal. Although we enjoyed being at Shelter Bay, we were so ready to get moving. Our friends Hans, Sara, Trevor, and David had come on board to help handle lines, and after our experience doing a test run on Blanchette, we were able to give detailed instructions on what they could expect. We left on March 9th, and to be honest, I had quite a bit of nervous excitement. It had been a big dream of mine to cross over the Pacific, and while we had already gone through one lock to get into the Bredor Lakes in Canada, nothing compares to the size and magnitude of the Panama Canal. The first step in a transit is to head for what's known as the Flats. This is the designated anchorage close to the port of Cologne where you wait for your advisor. In order to get there, you have to weave your way through all the big ships who are also anchored waiting for their turn to go through the canal. We dropped the anchor, and while we waited for our advisor, I took the opportunity to launch Phoenix for the first time. We welcomed our advisor Carlos on board, who just so happened to be the exact same advisor who helped Seth and Elizabeth on honeymoon, so we knew we were in good hands. After a delicious, exotic dinner of green chicken curry, we got underway towards the Gatun Locks. We'd heard conflicting reports on whether or not we'd be allowed to fly our drone while we were actually in the canal, so Carlos was kind enough to call the Canal Authority to clarify and was able to get us the green light.
David's very excited. We're gonna drone the canal.
The plan for the Gatun Locks was for a tug up against the sidewall, and then us tied up to a monohull by the name of Plain to Sea.
Captain Amy has us under control. Or Admiral Amy has us under control.
While Admiral Amy was driving, the line handlers made sure we were all on the same page.
And we will send the middle of the line. Yeah. And they will pass on their clit and we bring back here. We clit here.
We got tied up to Plain to Sea without any problems, although I think our line handlers were a little disappointed we weren't in a center tie situation and thus they need to actively handle lines. I was just happy things were going off without a hitch.
Amy and David, you guys are in the Panama Canal! There's the bell!
Time to go.
Time to get started, time to go up. Up.
Let the water rise.
With the boat secure, it was time for the first flight with Phoenix inside the canal.
So David is testing the drone right now because we're not sure how good the signal will be as we go through the canal. So The water has not started coming in yet. We're still waiting for it. And hopefully once it does, we can drone the entire crossing.
It seemed like we had to wait quite a while, but when the water started coming in, it was pretty cool to watch just how fast it rose. We even got to watch the mules at work bringing a ship forward in the lock next to us.
We're gonna back up, let the sailboat go forward with the tugboat again, then we'll do it all over. This boat right here is actually in line waiting to come in right after us.
Yep.
The tanker. That is the other side of the canal. First block.
Really incredible.
So forward we go. Tanker went, tugboat followed. We've got the sailboat in front of us, and we're following right behind to go into the next lock. Stay tuned. And we're off. David, how do you feel?
Pretty
we are
fantastic.
leaving the canal right now.
Well, we're entering into the lake.
The first half.
The first set of locks. We're good.
So that's the sailboat and tugger. We detached and took off. Freedom, here we come. Tanker's leaving, we're right behind it. This is the first part of the Panama Canal.
After clearing the 3 Gatun Locks, we spent the night anchored deep in Gatun Lake with all the big ships. Carlos had left late the previous night, so a new advisor, Edgar, joined us for an early start to our second day. We had about a 30 nautical mile motor in order to get to the Pedro Miguel lock, which took us all morning. Fortunately, we had Hans, a port pilot in Recife, Brazil, to share some stories about the ships we saw. Other crew found more unique ways of entertaining themselves.
That's the CSAV Longomilla, I think. Longomilla. And apparently Hans has maneuvered that ship down in Brazil.
Alright, one-handed line. One-handed bowling. Don't cheat, Trevor.
Yeah, don't cheat. I wasn't. Alright, go.
I see Trevor's hand sneaking out.
I can do it with my eyes closed and behind my back, but not with one hand. Sure not.
Go, Sarah, go. Maybe use your teeth. I guess if you're scuba diving, you don't have teeth to use, so you gotta tighten it though.
Alright, check it.
Oh, nice! Look at that. That was a tie. That was really close.
Go team!
Amy and I had decided to split driving duties, so I got to handle Starry Horizons through the Pedro Miguel and Mira Flores Locks. There was a pretty strong current from behind, so it was a bit tricky to maneuver next to Discovery, the cruise ship tied to the wall. However, our line handlers proved their worth as we tied up without any problems all 3 times and then waited for Pavo Real, the lagoon catamaran who would tie up next to us. Once all 3 boats were situated, we had a long time to wait for our big ship to join us in the lock.
Glad to see my crew hard at work.
Woo! Look at us.
Man,
We've been here for, what, an hour?
almost, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard life, you know.
Really struggling, huh?
Yeah.
Gotta know when to relax.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a bummer when Edgar told us he had a no-fly policy on drones. But since we had extra time, I decided to go up the mast in Pedro Miguel, and then we captured some time-lapse footage going through Mira Flores.
Saying farewell to the Atlantic. The boat behind us. We're all out. We did it. Go Starry Horizons! Alright, David, so what advice would you give to those reading your blog and watching about going through the canal?
Well, I would say, first of all, get very good line handlers. That makes a huge difference.
What?
Yeah. And make sure you know how your boat handles. The current coming in through the Mira Flores Locks was pretty strong, so we did okay keeping our stern end of the current, but the catamaran we were with almost got put on the wall when he got sideways, so gotta make sure you know how you handle in reverse. But other than that, you know, it's just a really cool experience.
Alright, and what's the one thing you wish someone told you?
It's a very slow experience. There's, you know, get up to the lock, you wait. Get up to the lock, you wait. So it's, don't be in a rush. Savor. Enjoy.
And with that, Starry Horizons in the Pacific.
In the Pacific, baby. Woohoo. We anchored in La Playita for our first night in the Pacific, and after a celebratory round of drinks by the crew, we sent Phoenix up for one last look.